Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from the third group. We will talk about components of qualitative research design. There are 5 components: purpose, conceptual context, research questions, methods, and validity. The first is purpose. What are the ultimate goals of this study? What issues is it intended to illuminate, and what practices will it influence? Why do you want to conduct it? And why should we care about this result? Okay, there are 2 functions. They help to guide your other design decisions to ensure that your study is worth doing, and they are crucial to justifying. Jadi ada 2 fungsi. Mereka membantu Anda memandu keputusan desain Anda yang lain untuk memastikan bahwa studi Anda layak dilakukan dan sangat penting untuk membenarkan studi Anda. Jadi there are 3 kinds of purposes: personal purposes, practical purposes, research purposes. Jadi tujuan pribadi, tujuan praktis guna untuk mencapai sesuatu, dan tujuan penelitian untuk memahami sesuatu, memperoleh wawasan tentang apa yang sedang terjadi dan mengapa ini terjadi. Selanjutnya yaitu they need to be empirically answered by your study. You need to frame your research question in ways that help your study to advance your purposes, rather than smuggling these purposes into the research questions themselves. Jadi ada 5 research purposes for which qualitative research studies are specifically suited. The first is understanding the meaning of events, situations, actions, and accounts of lives and experience. Jadi memahami arti peristiwa, situasi, tindakan, dan kisah kehidupan dan pengalaman. Yang kedua yaitu understanding the context with which participants act and the influence that this context has on their actions. Jadi memahami konteks di mana peserta bertindak dan pengaruh konteks ini terhadap tindakan mereka. Yang ketiga yaitu identifying anticipated phenomena and influences and generating new grounded theories. Jadi mengidentifikasi fenomena dan pengaruh yang tidak diantisipasi dan menghasilkan teori-teori baru yang membumi. The third is understanding the process by which events and actions take place. Jadi untuk memahami proses di mana peristiwa dan tindakan terjadi. Yang terakhir yaitu developing casual explanation, untuk mengembangkan penjelasan secara kasual.
Conceptual context or theoretical framework. Theories are formulated to explain, predict, and understand phenomena in many cases, to challenge and extend existing knowledge within the limits of critical bounding assumption. The theoretical framework is the structure that can hold, support a theory of a research study. The theoretical framework introduces and describes the theory that explains why the research problem under study exists. There are 4 main sources to construct the theoretical framework or conceptual context. The first is your own experience, experiential data researcher, technical knowledge, research background, and personal experiences. Second is existing theory and research. The next is the result of any pilot studies or preliminary research that you have done to test your ideas or method and explore their implication, or to inductively develop grounded theory. And the last is thought experiment, like speculation and what-if question. We can say that a theoretical framework helps the achievement of a good research criteria. The first is it increases the credibility of qualitative data or the internal validity of our quantitative data. Second, it may enhance the transferability of the findings from your qualitative data or external validity and generalizability of quantitative data analysis. The next, it increases the confirmability of your finding in qualitative data or objectivity of your finding in quantitative data. And the last, it improves the dependability of your finding in qualitative data or reliability of finding in quantitative data. Maybe that's all from me.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, here I will explain about research questions. What is a research questions? Research questions are the most important phase within the qualitative study. The research question should be open-ended to allow the researcher to generate hypotheses from analyzing the collected data. With qualitative studies, research questions are developed to confirm or void pre-conceived hypothesis, relationship, or correlations. Karena research question pada studi kualitatif ini sangat penting dan terdapat pertanyaan penelitian yang harus terbuka sesuai dengan hasil dari hipotesis dalam analisis data yang sudah dikumpulkan. Okay, for the next is function of research questions. In a research proposal, research question is to explain specifically what your study would attempt to learn or understand. And in research design, there are two other functions. The first is to help you focus the study, relationship to purpose, and conceptual context. And the second number is to give you guidance on how to conduct between relationship to methods and validity. Here is hypothesis, proposition, generalizing questions, particularizing questions, instrumentalist, realist, variance questions, and then process questions. For the next is types of understanding in qualitative research. The first is description. Description is explain about what happened in terms of observable behavior or event. Then interpretation is about the meaning of these things for people involved of their thoughts, feelings, and interpretation. First number is theory. Theory is explained about how these things happen and how they can be explained. And then fourth number is generalization. This is explained about focus on the generality or wider prevalence of the phenomena study, which not appropriate for qualitative research. For the last number is evaluation. Evaluation is described about how such phenomena should be evaluated, which not appropriate for qualitative research. Okay, maybe now here what I can deliver to you, and I'm sorry if you found some mistakes from me. At the last, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Now we are going to method of qualitative research, yeah. And the first one is about pre-structuring a qualitative study. One of the most important issues in designing a qualitative study is how much you should attempt to pre-structure your method. Structured approaches can help ensure the comparability of data across sources and researchers and are therefore particularly useful in answering variance questions that deal with the difference between thing and the explanation of this difference. Jadi prestruktur ini salah satu hal yang penting ketika kita ngomongin tentang method di dalam qualitative research, karena itu bisa ngebantu banyak hal ketika kita berkaitan dengan kualitatif ini sendiri. Jadi itu bisa menjawab pertanyaan mengenai varians, pertanyaan-pertanyaan yang juga menangani perbedaan antara hal-hal ataupun penjelas untuk perbedaan ini. Nah, these four main components of qualitative method. There are the research relationship that you establish with those you study. The second one is sampling. It's talk about what times or settings or individuals you select to observe or interview, and what are the sources of information you decide to use. The third is data collection. It talk about how you gather the information you will use. And the last one is data analysis. What you do with this information to make sense of it. Negotiating a research relationship. Your relationship with the other people, with people in your study can be complex and changeable. And that relationship will necessarily affect you as the research instrument, as well as have implication for other component of your research design. Nah, we have also have to do about decision about sampling. It talk about di mana, kapan, siapa, atau apa yang bakal kita lakuin selama kualitatif method kualitatif ini. Nah, decision about data collection. Jadi ngebuat satu keputusan tentang data collection, dan kita tahu bahwasanya data collection di dalam penelitian kualitatif itu ada observasi, ada wawancara, ada juga dokumentasi kan ya. Nah, buat selanjutnya decision about data analysis, it talk about bagaimana kita menganalisis data collection tadi. Jadi ketika kita memutuskan buat data collectionnya adalah wawancara, berarti kita menganalisis data collection wawancara tadi, ataupun dokumentasi atau observasi seperti itu. Nah, the next is validity. It's my turn. So for Shania, time is yours.
Validity. Validity is a measure that shows the level of validity or validity of an instrument. There are two kinds of logical validity that can be achieved by an instrument. Number one is content validity. Content validity is a test is said to have content validity if it measures contains specific objectives that are parallel to the material or subject matter given. Number two is construction validity. Construction validity is a test is said to have construction if the items that make up the test measure every aspect of thinking as stated in the specific instructional objective. Validity measurement concept. The definition of validity of the measuring instrument is not outlined for all measurement purposes. A measuring instrument produces a measure that is valid only for one particular measurement purpose.